This peppy list is on Greek government. Similar to China and other ancient civilizations, ancient Greece experimented with different forms of government. Since ancient Greece was divided into city-states and small kingdoms during the classical period, many different systems emerged. Each system had its pros and cons, and still today we struggle to find the perfect form of government to create a stable, prosperous, and safe world. Over time, Greek governments evolved based on the circumstances in each particular city-state. In this video, I list the 5 topics that include Greek city-states, monarchy, oligarchy, tyranny, and democracy. First on the list is Greek city-states. City-states were usually isolated from each other because they were separated by mountains or they were on islands. This allowed the people in these city-states to form unique forms of government. Although the city-states were separated, they did share a common language and religion for the most part. Each city maintained its own legal system, its own military, and its own currency. In Greek, the word for city-state is a polis. Here are examples of Greek city-states all over the Greek world. The first form of government I will discuss is a monarchy. A monarchy is a government in which one person rules, usually a king or a queen. Most Greek city-states used this form of government from 2000 to 800 BCE. In the beginning, Greek kings were elected when the old king died. This trend changed, however, and then the king's eldest son was usually the next to rule. Wealthy aristocrats helped the king rule. Usually this was made up of landowners who had much land. Eventually, these aristocrats realized that they had more power than any king because the king was dependent on them to maintain power. Sometimes kings were overthrown and a different form of government was favored. The next form of government is an oligarchy. An oligarchy is a government system in which a few people rule. This was a popular form of government between 800 and 650 BCE in ancient Greece. Oligarchs were usually rich merchants or wealthy landowners. This wealth and land was inherited from one generation to the next under the aristocratic families. A problem with oligarchy is sometimes these oligarchs would ignore the needs of the common people, like farmers. Under oligarchy, the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. Sometimes people in the military gain the support of the common people and use the army to overthrow the oligarchy in a military coup d'etat. The next form of government is tyranny. A tyranny is a form of government in which one person rules by force illegally. This was a common form of government in ancient Greece during the 600s until about 500 BCE. Another word for a tyranny is a dictatorship. Tyranny is different from monarchy in 3 main ways. First, tyrants' children do not necessarily inherit the throne. Second, the tyrant usually takes control illegally. And third, there are no legal limits on the tyrant's power. Tyrants usually gain power by promising the common people things. At first, life would get better for the poor and sometimes get worse for the rich, but over time, the tyrant wanted to maintain his power at all costs. This is demonstrated in Athens by the rule of Hippias. He became paranoid after the murder of his brother Hipparchus, and he ruled cruelly after that. The last form of government is one that most of us are familiar with: democracy. A democracy is a form of government in which citizens rule by voting either directly or through a representative. Athens was the first city-state to use this system of government. A citizen is a person who has rights and duties within a polis. Athens had a direct democracy, which means that everyone who could vote voted directly on issues or for candidates. The United States, on the other hand, is a representative democracy, which means that representatives are elected who vote on your behalf. Although democracy is the best form of government that creates the most equality, it is not without its flaws. Sometimes powerful speakers persuaded citizens to vote unwisely. This week's list covered 5 major topics. Included were Greek city-states, monarchy, oligarchy, tyranny, and democracy. I hope you like this list. Next week's list will delve deeper into Athens and Sparta. If you want to get updates on when the next video comes out, please subscribe and show your support.